Inside this machine in southern France, 35 nations are about to ignite a star. The reason is the number on your electricity bill. It will burn at 150 million degrees, 10 times hotter than the core of the sun, and it cannot melt down. Its fuel is seawater. One glass carries as much energy as a truckload of coal, and the oceans will never run out. This month, engineers lowered the final piece of a magnet strong enough to lift an aircraft carrier. It is nearly finished. 40 years of work and more than $20 billion ride on one question: whether a machine can hold a star without breaking. Every second, the sun crushes about 600 million tons of hydrogen so hard that the atoms fuse together. When atoms fuse, a tiny bit of mass turns into a ridiculous amount of energy. That process is called fusion. Fusion is the reason you have daylight, weather, plants, and life itself. Every sunrise is a fusion reactor doing its job. Here is the idea that keeps scientists up at night. What if we could copy that process down here on Earth? The fuel comes from ordinary seawater. One glass could produce as much energy as burning 10,000 pounds of coal. No greenhouse gases, no risk of meltdown, no long-lived radioactive waste like traditional nuclear plants. Clean energy, essentially forever. But there is one tiny problem. Without the sun's crushing gravity, you need temperatures the universe reserves for exploding stars. And no material on Earth can touch plasma that hot without instantly vaporizing. So how do you hold a star without touching it? The answer looks suspiciously like a donut. It is called a tokamak, a ring-shaped chamber wrapped in extremely powerful magnets. First, all the air is pumped out until the chamber is emptier than outer space itself. Then, a wisp of hydrogen fuel, about the weight of a postage stamp, is blasted with electricity until it becomes glowing plasma. That plasma becomes hotter than anything else in the entire solar system, including the center of the sun. Here is the trick. Plasma is electrically charged, which means powerful magnets can push it, squeeze it, and steer it. The magnetic cage squeezes the plasma into a floating ring that levitates in the middle, never touching the walls. Those magnets are made from 100,000 kilometers of superconducting wire, enough to wrap around the Earth 2.5 times. To work, they must be chilled to -269 degrees Celsius, colder than the void of deep space. The coldest place in the solar system, and the hottest, separated by a few feet of steel, inside one human machine. The machine is called ITER, and it is being assembled like the world's heaviest and most stressful puzzle. Giant steel sectors arrive from Korea and Europe, each one weighing as much as 3 fully loaded jumbo jets. Magnet coils come from China, Russia, and Japan. And from the United States comes the beating heart of the machine. The central solenoid, an 18-meter-tall electromagnet stack, strong enough to hoist a 100,000-ton aircraft carrier. Its job is to slam electric current through the plasma and stir it up to fusion temperatures. In July of 2026, the final module was lowered into place, a moment engineers had chased for decades. Picture a crane operator guiding a 135-ton magnet into a slot with almost no clearance at all. Some parts of this 23,000-ton machine must align within fractions of a millimeter, like parking a cruise ship perfectly. The price tag runs past $20 billion, with some estimates near double. Only the space station has cost more. Now for the plot twist most people have never heard. This whole project started as a Cold War peace deal. In 1985, Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev met in Geneva at the height of the arms race. Out of that meeting came a wild idea. What if the superpowers built something together for the benefit of all mankind? That idea became ITER. Today it includes America, Russia, China, Europe, Japan, South Korea, and India. Countries that argue about nearly everything are quietly building a star together in the French countryside. But the road has been brutal. Delays piled up for decades, and full-power fusion runs are not expected until the late 2030s. Meanwhile, private startups are racing ahead, and investment just surged 69% to $4.5 billion this year. In 2022, an American laser lab even got more energy out of a fusion reaction than it put in. But that shot lasted billionths of a second. ITER is designed to hold a burning plasma for up to 8 full minutes. ITER's target is 500 megawatts of fusion power from just 50 megawatts of heating, 10 times more energy out than in. No lab, no startup, no country has ever done that. It is the difference between striking a match and building a fireplace. Here is the surprise, though. ITER itself will never power a single home. It will not even generate electricity. It is a science experiment, built to prove the fire can burn and to unlock the real power plants of the 2040s. If those work, buckle up. The oceans hold enough fusion fuel to power humanity for millions of years. Energy could become so abundant that desalinating water for entire countries or pulling carbon from the sky becomes almost routine. And a fusion plant physically cannot melt down. Disturb the plasma, and it fizzles out in seconds like a birthday candle. The hard part is not stopping the fire. The hard part is keeping it lit. That is the great irony of fusion. Think about it. Every meal, every road trip, every late-night scroll was powered by a star 93 million miles away. Humanity has always lived off borrowed sunlight. Sometime in the next decade, we might finally start making our own. Many of the people building this machine know they may never see fusion power a single home in their lifetime. They build it anyway. They call it cathedral thinking, planting a tree whose shade you will never sit in. So here is the question. Would you bet on the artificial sun, or will fusion always be 30 years away? Tell us what you think in the comments. And until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the colossal unknown.